getting home safely. When you're out, having a few cocktails, so important. We all know about Uber, but I'm not sure you know about this guy and his organization, SOS Safe Ride. I'm here with Wayne Dorsey. Tell me, this is a great program. I'm surprised not more people are using it, or are a lot of people using it?
Well, so really quick, so I always have to make a quick distinction.
Yeah.
This gets confused a lot.
Yeah.
So the name of our organization is the Safe Ride Foundation.
Oh, goodness.
And then SOS is one of our flagship programs, right?
Okay, good to know.
So the Safe Ride Foundation, we're the only nonprofit in Frederick County working to stop drunk driving.
Yeah.
We do a number of different things, but the thing that we're known for is the SOS Safe Ride program.
Okay.
Which is a mobile app that's a lot like Uber, but we drive your car home for you.
Yes.
Right. So like you go out to the bar, you wanted to have 2 drinks, and you had like 11, and basically we send 2 drivers out to you, 2 amazing volunteer drivers.
Yes.
And one of us drives you home in your car. Other person follows behind in our car. We get back to your house, give you back the keys, and we leave. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So to answer your question, so we actually, so this is our 8-year anniversary this year.
That's
right? And we've now prevented, or I guess we're very proud to have now prevented 17,000 DUIs here in Frederick County.
Holy cow!
It's
Well
funny
done.
when people say like, oh yeah, like I feel like no one knows about it. I'm
Yeah,
surprised you
you're
heard. I mean,
Well, thank God 17,000 people do, because can you imagine those people on the roads? And we're all thankful for that, really.
Thank you.
That's
For sure.
that's really impressive. Was there something in particular that made you decide this was the organization for you?
Well, I founded this when I was 23 years old, and I do not have a compelling story for you.
Okay.
Right? So,
Well, I mean, I guess that's
I'll tell you
good.
though. So, I mean, the thing is, people always ask, like, why'd you start this?
Yeah.
So when you start any nonprofit, that's
Yeah.
always the question. So I always share with people that when I was in college, I went to West Virginia University, so big party school.
Yeah.
I was an athlete. I was in a frat, and so I was surrounded by people that did really dumb things all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So I've never had a DUI. I've never had a family member that passed away in a tragic accident. I very luckily don't have that story.
Yeah.
But all that to say, my background's in computer engineering, and when I had the idea for the app, I thought that could impact the community, save lives, and it'd be a really cool job. And so now it's 8 years later, and it is my full-time job. So,
I mean, that's an impressive kind of even history. So I love the fact, and I'm grateful for you that there wasn't something but noticing that there was a need that could be filled, and you could do it in such a positive way. I mean, that's really great. So people can download the app and utilize it similar to Uber, but
Yes.
get their car home, which is always a pain in the rear if you don't get
Exactly.
your car home the next day.
And at the end of the day, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No.
but at the end of the day, it's not about just driving you home in your car.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we look at it and say, you know how many times that the average person drinks and drives before they get caught?
How many?
If you had to guess,
Oh, I mean, I would say 6.
80.
80 times before they get caught.
Yeah. So think about that next time you're driving around sober.
Oh, gosh.
Right? So all that to say,
Yeah.
we're trying to eliminate excuses here.
Yeah.
And if at the end of the day your excuse is, well, I needed my car home in the
right,
morning.
right.
Like,
Now,
okay,
that's
guess
done.
what, Frederick County?
That's right. Can't use that anymore. Mark that off. So 17,000 so far in 8 years.
Yeah.
That is unreal. Do you have any particular milestone? I mean, obviously 20,000 would be really nice.
Sure,
Huh?
yeah.
So how many are you doing on average a month?
On a month, please? I guess do that math, right?
Okay.
I mean, it was somewhere in between, like, I guess it depends. I guess like 400, 700, something like that, right?
Holy
It
cow.
depends. So.
So how many drivers do you need drivers and stuff?
Absolutely.
Are you always
So,
hiring?
I always ask about and this is the thing people don't understand. It's like this is all volunteer.
Yeah.
So, like obviously this is my full-time job, and we have a staff of 5, but we have 96 volunteers that
Wow.
are out here that are literal superheroes working to make sure that people don't drink and drive and get behind the wheel when they shouldn't be.
Right.
So we're always looking for new volunteers. I would argue that 2 things. One, that we have the most fun volunteer experience you will ever have. I mean, we deal with drunk people, for God's sakes. So it's
What's more fun
it's
than that?
Yeah. So all that to say, we have the funnest audience. We
Yeah.
deal with drunk people, for God's sake.
You can practice your best jokes. You can that's great.
Yeah. So by all means, sossaferide.org/volunteer. So,
Yeah. Okay. So if you're looking for some fun on a Friday, Saturday night and driving people home, then this is for you. What's been the biggest obstacle, or have there been any in the 8 years that you've had this organization?
Well, I would say the biggest obstacle was in the very beginning, right? You know how they say most businesses they fail within 5 years, right? For nonprofits, it's two,
Okay.
right? And so when I started this, like, the thing that's really difficult is when you found your nonprofit and there's nobody around, right? Because I mean, think about it. From the IRS's perspective, they think that that you're going to get a group of people, a group of 10 awesome people, and they're all going to we're going to solve climate change
Yes,
or whatever,
right.
and they all like form it, and then they have an executive director, right? And all
Yeah,
this
you
other
got a
stuff,
whole
right?
board and everything.
But when you're a 23-year-old black kid, like, just like I had this cool
people
idea,
weren't
you know what I mean?
People weren't jumping on that, hey?
So it was one of those things where in the beginning it was just you're trying to start a community and start a mission and a cause, and there's just just really no one around, right?
Yeah.
And that's not to like to be like woe is me or anything like that. It's just to say that was a challenge at the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly thankful that we have so many volunteers, we have a big board, we have some staff members and stuff, and as far as the community, I guess gravitating towards this, I mean, we're the only thing in Frederick County working to stop drunk driving. And the thing that I always love about us is that we're one of the nonprofits, I would say one of the few nonprofits that you can actually see what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, and it has a direct impact.
Right.
Every ride you give has a direct impact on the community, which is
Absolutely,
really, that's got to make you feel good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's no knock against other nonprofits or
No.
anything like that. It's just
It's just different. It's just different.
But all I have to say, like I always say, like whenever you see our cars that are branded driving around, you're like, hey, look, that's them doing the thing.
Doing their thing.
Doing
Doing their thing, and we love that. We really do. What about the future of the Safe Ride Foundation? Like, what do you have things in the works on any expansion or growth or kind of your trajectory
I'm
ideas?
glad you asked that. So this has been a secret for a while, but but I mean, as of 2 months ago, it's no longer a secret.
Okay.
So, like I said, the Safe Ride Foundation is the name of our organization, and then SOS Safe Ride is our flagship program. We recently just started a new program in partnership with the county and United Way, known as Rides for Good.
Okay.
Right? So basically, what that is, it's all under Safe Ride Foundation, but like as opposed to everyone thinks that our main mission is stopping drunk driving. Really what we're doing is we're helping to cultivate a healthier Frederick County through providing safe and reliable transportation solutions.
Okay.
And that's solutions to all transportation problems, right? So to paint a picture here, there are a lot of people in Frederick County who are, for a lack of a better term, transportation poor, right? Maybe they don't have a car, maybe their car's in a shop, maybe they only have one car and there's a family of 6 or something like that, right? And there's also a lot of places in Frederick County that are, for also a lack of a better term, transportation deserts, right? Where if you're out in, I don't know, Adamstown and you go to order an Uber,
they're like, where are you? We don't know.
Right?
We can't get to you. Yeah.
And so what we decided to do is that, the county understands this problem pretty heavily. And so in partnership with them, United Way, and some other stakeholders, like we started the Rides for Good program. And we're helping to solve all those transportation problems, helping people get to the human services that they need. So helping people get to work, to the grocery store, even to work sometimes.
Okay.
And it's also volunteer run too. So essentially the way it works is someone can register to be a passenger with the program. Very simple to do, and and anyone can use it, but it's very targeted towards low-income families and the rural areas, things like that, where the need's the greatest.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing it for about 2 months now, and yeah, I cannot tell you the demand. Like I mean that in a way where it's like, oh well, I should say how great the need is, right?
Right. Even more than you expected?
It like gratuitously more.
Wow. Okay.
And it's
And that's it's shocking. Really, well, not really. I mean, I think the transportation issues when you're outside the city limits, it gets worse and worse the further you go. So the access to
and it's a shame because I mean you think about someone maybe they're in their 70s and they can't drive anymore, right? And then we keep saying it's more than just a ride. It's like, hey, I'll never miss a dialysis appointment,
right?
Or someone who needs to go to school, like I'll be the first person in my family to graduate college or something. Like the stories are just piling in.
I bet.
So,
yeah. So how, for that organization, it's again volunteer run, and then you have reached out to people in the community and partners like United Way to get the people to register.
Exactly.
So they come through normally a partner organization. Is that how it is?
Generally speaking, I mean, anyone can register for the program, right?
Right.
So if you have someone who maybe isn't involved in an organization, just go to our website, rideforgood.org, and it's just super simple. So
Yeah, because
bridge the gap.
like you said, you don't want people saying, "Oh, I'll just miss my cancer treatment today because I can't get there because so and so has the car or whatever," or work. I mean,
Absolutely.
and I guess unfortunately the cost of living, gets cheaper the further away from the city you move, and yet it's harder to get to the jobs and
Exactly.
everything you need. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, that's exciting.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more, humbled the fact that the county gave us the responsibility of doing this, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I just hope that we can pay that back tenfold, you know?
Yeah.
I will say something really quick, which is one of our biggest partners for this is Transit.
Okay.
So, Jamie over at Transit, shout out to her, by the way. I know she's watching this, which is that, she always says the number one thing I want you to know about Transit is that it's free, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason I'm bringing them up is because we have this goal to be first mile or last mile, first leg or last leg. So what that means is we don't want to be someone's end all be all.
Right.
So maybe it's instead of me driving you to your job on 40 from Brunswick, maybe it's like, hey, well, we can get you to the transit stop, or we can get you to, again, what have you, right?
Right. So a shared thing. So we're going to get you to the closest place so that you can then move on to get maybe somebody else and allow that person to utilize the system in place.
Not the whole system.
Right.
So,
exactly.
She gets it.
I get it. I get it. I'm quick like that. But yeah, transit, the fact that transit is free, I don't know if many people continue to realize that since the pandemic, they've kept transit free, and it's accessible especially if you're amongst one of their routes. If there was one thing you'd want people who weren't familiar before this to know about this organization, what would that be?
Sure. So, I'm glad you segued there. The biggest thing is that we're a network of superheroes trying to solve the problems where they're the greatest, right? And so the number one thing that's one thing I want people to know, and then the thing I want them to do is to be a part of that, right? The greatest thing that you can give any organization is not your money, it's your time. It's you, right? And so please, if you can volunteer and just, if you can drive someone to work twice a week or something like that, or if you can help some drunk drivers stay off the road, we couldn't appreciate you more for that. So,
Well, I think that's pretty easy to do. Can't we, guys? We can do that. What's on the horizon for you, Mr. Dorsey? What's anything exciting?
You know something I haven't done yet? I've never been in a play before. And I was like, how hard could it be, right? So my sister, who also sings, I was like, hey, they're having auditions for Sister Act in a couple weeks. Like, I was like, you want to audition with me? She's like, yeah, actually. And we both got parts. So
I love it. We really appreciate Wayne Dorsey, all that he's doing to help make Frederick even better. He needs your help to keep this going. It's run on volunteer power, and that is you. And we'd love to hear your stories if you do volunteer. Of course, no names being used, but have a good time with the Safe Ride Foundation and Wayne Dorsey.